Well, as everybody knows, Kyle went through a whole series of motion hearings and, well, actually only one hearing, but Thomas Claire Binger brought up a whole bunch of motions to try to incriminate Kyle and all kinds of stuff. And Judge Bruce Schroeder slapped him down pretty bad. And naturally, a lot of people were upset about that. I mean, they want Kyle convicted regardless. And they see anything that Judge Bruce Schroeder does to lessen their chances of getting a conviction as racist somehow. And our guest speaker here today, Taurean Rain Reloaded, is a typical example of that. We'll play it, we'll comment, we'll have fun. Hello out there. I am trying to get through.
With his powerful brainwaves cradled in the warmth of reasoning, it's time for Johnny Walker Dread to straighten you out on a thing or two. Emanating all the way from exciting Las Vegas, Oklahoma, it's the Johnny Walker Dread Show.
And I'm still not feeling well. I didn't even turn on the laptop camera because I look terrible. And no, I don't have the COVID. At any rate, let's go ahead. Let's start her up. Listen to his arguments. Process them. Tell me what you think.
Before I get started with the story, let me give a shout out to Stephanie Dews on Discord for sending the story to me. And we are back talking about Kyle Rittenhouse. So
now you think this story must have been some sort of like real expose. No, it's just a regular like AP news story. So to shout out to somebody for sending it to you when you could have just opened up YouTube and it would have probably been there right in front of you. Okay.
what is going on with Rittenhouse right now? Well, apparently, when his trial comes up, he's now got the privilege of having something that could have been very crucial to the proceedings not have to be discussed or brought up in his trial.
By the way, he mentions Rittenhouse over and over again. Any slight chuckle you might give to the first couple of times he says it evaporates pretty quickly once he says it about 30 times.
And that is his affiliation with the Proud Boys. As we all know, that is very common knowledge that that is the group that he is affiliated with. But I think he's affiliated with more. But that.
Oh, it's common knowledge, right? It's so common knowledge that Thomas Claire Binger, the assistant district attorney who has search warrant capability, couldn't uncover any evidence of it. There is no evidence whatsoever that Kyle Rittenhouse was a member of the Proud Boy when he was walking around the streets of Kenosha that night. They looked through his social media. They tried everything to pin that on him, and they couldn't find it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, he must have scrubbed his social media clean. Impossible. Even Facebook itself did a search. There's no way that Kyle Rittenhouse could have wiped that out. Furthermore, you're talking about a 17-year-old kid. What are the chances of somebody at 17 having strong political opinions like being a member of the Proud Boy and never mentioning them at all? Not a single time. And yet, his comment, well, we all know that he is a member of the organization. Okay.
That one being one of the most prominent. Are we surprised by this? No. I think they're truly building a case to try to get this guy to walk. Now, here's the thing. It's going to be interesting to see the outcome of this, considering that the reason he's on trial is because of the murder of two white guys and the severe injury of another white guy.
Well, it's just a little bit more than that. The actual nature of what took place indicates that there was no race involved. Kyle is walking down the street, and he's ambushed by a white guy who chases after him. Later, after shooting him, he's chased after other white guys. There's no connection there to race, at least none that anybody can see. What's your evidence?
So I'm curious to see how all of this is going to turn out. A judge has ruled that prosecutors in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial cannot present evidence of his link to the Proud Boys. This ruling by Kenosha County Circuit Judge Bruce Schroeder on Friday is a crushing blow to the prosecution as they work to prove that Rittenhouse killing two people was racially motivated.
If it's a crushing blow, then perhaps he's innocent. if you really need that to convict him, in other words, without that link to Proud Boys, you have no case, then maybe he's innocent. And if you can't even accumulate enough evidence to where simply sidestepping the whole issue of Proud Boys totally wipes out your argument, then you had no case to begin with.
The teen fatally shot 2 protesters during an August 2020 protest for Jacob Blake in Wisconsin when he was 17 years old. Assistant District Attorney Thomas Binger was hoping to show how Rittenhouse had adopted the beliefs of the white nationalist group. Binger called the teen a chaos tourist who traveled from Antioch, Illinois to Kenosha armed with a Smith & Wesson AR-15 style gun with a 30-round magazine.
And we all know now that he did not do that. We have known that Kyle didn't take the gun across the state line from Antioch to Kenosha since September. And yet, he repeats it over and over again. Once information has become so common knowledge that you still repeat stuff that's wrong, I consider that lying. There has to be some sort of social responsibility on people to get their facts straight.
The teen fatally shot protesters Anthony Huber and Joseph D. Rosenbaum. A third man, Gage Grosskreutz, was also shot in the arm but survived. Lawyers representing the now 18-year-old said that the crime could not have been racially motivated since his victims were white.
Well, no, that's not just it. They said it wasn't racially motivated because nothing happened there that indicated it was racially motivated. The one person using the N-word was one of the people that Kyle shot, not Kyle himself. You're misrepresenting what took place. Well, you're misrepresenting the arguments of the defendant's lawyers here.
However, the assistant district attorney claims that since everyone was there was protesting the unjust shooting police of a black man, Rittenhouse felt compelled to harm them. Rittenhouse has been charged with first-degree intentional homicide, first-degree reckless homicide, attempted first-degree intentional homicide, and 2 counts of reckless endangerment. He also faces a misdemeanor charge of being a minor in the possession of a firearm. They also need to go after his mama because she was the one that took him across that border, knowing damn well he wasn't supposed to be there, and she was there herself causing chaos too. So I'm trying to figure out where the charge is for his mother.
An utter lie. At this point, he doesn't even care whether he's accurate or not. I think deep down he knows his mother had nothing to do with it. We all know now that she didn't. We have known since September that his mother had nothing to do with him being there. She didn't even know he was at the protest until after he called her or texted her while he was there. This idea that Wendy Rittenhouse was somehow involved in Kyle Rittenhouse's shootings was based on false assumptions, bad assumptions made right after the shooting that were never corrected by people who should have known better. So let's be clear here. This dude's lying. Wendy Rittenhouse had nothing to do with the shootings. Nothing whatsoever. And if you could prove, you could show even a smidgen of evidence to implicate her, let's see it. You're not going to find it.
Now, here's the thing. I see kind of both sides to this.
You kind of see both sides to this? How in the hell can you claim that you see both sides to this? When you go around saying things like, well, Wendy Rittenhouse, she's guilty. She should be locked up. How can you claim to come at this with an understanding of both sides of the argument when you take such ridiculously biased and incorrect views on what took place?
One, I do see that, yes, how could they charge him with that particular, like, how could they use the Proud Boys part with him? Because, yes, the people he did shoot and kill were white. All 3 of them were white. So them trying to use the race thing for him on that aspect would look silly because they weren't black, the people that he shot and injured and or killed. On the flip side, the event in which he did it at.
On the stupid side, go ahead.
And because of what happened to the victim, Jacob Blake, who is black, and it was mainly a lot of BLM people out there, Granted, BLM is a mixed bag right now because it's not just black people, it just has black in the name. I can see it on that side as well.
In other words, because there were BLM people there that night, then his shootings must have been against BLM. That's his argument.
But now that just means that the people who are against him are going to have to do a strong convincing or have a strong case without that big crucial part to get this man, because I can say that now because he's 18, locked up. So we'll continue to keep an eye on this whole situation right here.
Okay. Think about the approach he's taking. It's all about getting him locked up. It doesn't matter whether he's guilty or not. This is a game. Well, it looks to me like we have no evidence whatsoever that he did anything wrong. We got to find something. What about the schoolyard fight? Yeah. Let's do the schoolyard fight. Oh, he used his stimulus funds to buy the rifle. We could use that. You're no longer looking for justice at that point. All you're trying to do is to find a way to win a competition. And I will say this. The fact that Kyle's, let's call them victims, fine. The fact that his victims were white is not the issue here. When it came to the whole deal about the Proud Boys and racial involvement, the problem was that the prosecution couldn't come up with anything that indicated Kyle did anything that night based on race. It's not the color of the people he shot that's the issue. It's the motive, and they can't find one, other than the fact that he was attacked. Like my video and subscribe to my channel.